there we are. We're showing live.
Ooh, that was fast.
I know.
A lot of times it's like, are we live? Maybe.
And then it like comes on like mid sentence going, I still can't figure out if we're live or not.
Hello. It's been a while. How's everybody doing? First of all, how are the last two lives?
Good. Okay, so I soloed it one day. And then the next time Michael Chen, I try to ignore his initials because I always screw it up. I'm like CB or B, or I'm like, I always forget the initials. But Michael came on, and he could only come for the first prompt, which was fine. And but I enjoyed his story, and I was like, dude, you got to send me after the edits and everything. You better send it my way. Hey, cool gamer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I've just got I'm still getting settled. I haven't like cleaned my house or done all of my chores. I got groceries, so that was huge.
Ooh, adulting.
I know. Well, when I say I got groceries, I had them delivered.
That's actually like extreme adulting when you don't even go out and do it.
Yeah.
I see that as another level. I don't see it as not adulting, because the thing is, you still had to plan for like meals and what am I going to have this week? And
yeah. Well, and so we got back on Tuesday night, and I go back to work on Wednesday.
Oh, so you don't even have work today?
Oh, no, I do work. Well, no, I went back to work the Wednesday that I got back.
Oh, God. I was about to get really excited. I'm like, oh, we're talking all day. We're catching up on everything. Like,
I know. I was like, I can't. I wanted to maximize the amount of time I could spend with my family and everything. And I was like, let's do this. So got back at like 7, started work the next day at like 11. So
7 at night. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was a full day of travel. Like our flight out was at 8 a.m. So
good God. Yeah, that's
like,
I'm the type of person that if there's layovers and stuff like that, I'm like, do I want to deal with that? Like, I'd rather just go straight to the place.
Mm-hmm. Both of the layovers were like, one of them was actually supposed to be substantial, and then they kept changing the gate on us. And so we were like back and forth. And we thought we had enough time to sit down to eat, but then we didn't. We just had to wrap up our food and take it on the plane. And then the second one, we weren't even sure we were going to make the flight. We were literally the people running through the airport.
You're like Macaulay Culkin's family.
Yeah, because there's 45 minutes, and we had to go from gate D to gate E, or to terminal D to E. And it was very far. And by the time I got there, I was like, and the plane had already started boarding. And I was like, but
it didn't finish boarding. So that's the important thing.
It really was. It was like, I was just the person over there, like panting, like while getting onto the plane, like, I am healthy and well. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, if I cough, it's because I was running, not for any other reason.
Right.
That's what sucked about everything that's been going on, is that I'm the type of runner that coughs while I run.
Yeah, like your lungs like start to get all just wonky, and you like start.
Yeah, and so I need a cough, and everyone looks at me, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm working out. Don't stare at me.
Leave me alone. Or like when you eat something really spicy, and then you like have like the.
Or you're just drinking water and it goes down the wrong way and you start coughing. You're like, and you're trying to hold it in because you're like, I don't want to freak people out. But
the mortification, everyone's
like, coughing has become the biggest faux pas ever. Like, how dare you? Even if you cover your mouth or anything, it's like, and it's like, dude, I just ate something wrong, okay? Or I swallowed air or something. I don't know. Like.
I will say though, on a plane, like especially now that wearing a mask is optional. Like, I wore a mask the whole time.
Yeah.
But it is optional. And it was a little strange because there was definitely somebody who was like coughing on the plane, and I was like, okay, that person sounds positively bubonic. Like I don't,
Well,
I
and
do
there's
not
so
trust
many
it.
smokers where they have what I call the old man cough. It's like a like that cough,
Mhm.
and then you just hear the phlegm and you're like, oh God. And it's
It
like
makes me,
it's very loud. Like it's almost like the bass of a vehicle. Like you feel their cough like vibrate through your body.
yeah, that part made me a little anxious, but I mean, I know we wore masks the whole time, and um, everybody that we were staying around was vaccinated and
Yeah.
everything. So, and I mean, of course, I say that I just recovered, in the last 3 months, and I can't even get a booster shot. I think it's for 3 months after you've been sick.
Mm-hmm. I gotta get a booster shot. I've only had one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
And that was like almost that was over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to get if there's second shots or anything. I got no clue.
Yeah. I think what I was reading was that you can, like, once you've had whatever the full amount of whatever type, you can get any of them as a booster.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think I've had the full amount. I think Johnson & Johnson came out with like another one.
I think initially, well, for travel purposes on the documentation that I was looking at,
Yeah.
it listed that you only had to have one shot of Johnson & Johnson.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
That was considered fully vaccinated.
Sweet, lucky me. Then the only reason I went with it was they were like, okay, we got this single shot or this double, and I was like, can we go with the single, please? No.
Yeah, by the time I went and got it, they didn't have that in my area. They were just like,
Yeah, and I was so sick after that shot. So sick. Oh my God.
I
Like,
think I slept. And it's funny because that has been the recurring symptom for me, even when I was sick, is that I just want to sleep the whole time. Like the fatigue is what gets me.
that's been me since age 10. So I'm wondering if this has been around for longer than we think.
To be fair, though, I couldn't even walk to the fridge. Like, it was.
Yeah, no, I walked to get food. I was like in a common area and so you could pick up food, and I'm standing in line, everyone's wearing masks, and for some reason I turn around and I took my mask off because I was like swaying. I was like, I'm gonna pass out. And I ended up turning this person, taking my mask off, and like an idiot. And I was like, hey, can you get my food for me? I want to sit over there. And I tried to go sit over there, and then I realized, nope, go to the bathroom because I was feeling nauseous. Didn't do anything. I just sat on the floor, and I'm like, this is so disgusting. But I was like, I can't stand.
That's how you know you're sick, though.
Yeah, and then finally went and sat down, and then the guy put it, like, I guess he'd been looking for me for a little bit. I felt so bad. But he finally gave me the food. I was like, thank you. I was like, but the first thing I told him, I was like, I'm not sick. I just had the shot yesterday. Like, I made sure to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I was like, I'm not sick. I just had the shot. And then what's funny is that my walk back to like my room, the whole time I'm like, okay. And I'm like spotting spots where I could sit down if I need to or throw up and everything the whole time. I'm like, all right, there's the spot. And then I walk past it. I'm like, all right, next one. Yep, that one. Okay. Nope, walk past it. Let's go. And like just all the way to the room.
So when I went, it was like 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
And I like got my shot. You have to sit there for 30 minutes and wait. Mm-hmm. And then I went immediately and picked up lunch, and then I was like, I should get a dinner as well, just in case I'm not. So I got a dinner too, came home, put it on the fridge, lay down on the couch, and then like I started to feel a little funky, and I texted my boss and I was like, hey, I just got, we'd already talked about it, so she knew I was going in for my shot. I'm like, hey, I just got my shot, starting to feel a little funky, I'm gonna lay down for a minute with my lunch. Slept all afternoon, slept through the night. I think that was, like the next day. And then I slept into the next day. And I did eat that extra meal that I got, and it like ended up saving my life. But I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I made sure to get another meal so I didn't have to walk out again. But just even, you know what? That is actually a very good point of people with chronic illness. That's probably that I didn't even consider that that's what it's like for them, where they're just like, all right, yeah, I'm walking, but I'm scoping out seats the whole time in case I need to sit down. And
that sounds awful and really
yeah.
frustrating too, especially when like
I at least had warning that, hey, you might have some side effects. And so I just took off work that day and stayed in bed. And yes, good morning.
Good morning. Oh yeah, the sore arm. I forgot about that. I did go ahead and take like an ibuprofen or something, whatever it is you're supposed to take. But
I'm just so used to every shot giving me a sore arm.
Yes. To me, it's like, oh, no, that's just from getting a shot. That's
the worst was penicillin in my butt. Oh my God. I felt like I was like, I had one of those stress balls with like sand in it that was actually like hard. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was moving that in my butt or something. Like it was tough. A common saying is to call it the peanut butter shot because it feels just a little thick.
That sounds real uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Let's see. My arm was, I used my arm a lot more, so it wasn't so bad. Oh, see, that's something else that was mentioned. I think that helped too because I did take, I went ahead and took the painkiller before, and then, hi everybody, here's Dobby. Dobby is being a turd. There you go, Dobby.
He missed his mom, and he's still showing it.
He actually fell off the desk before we went
live. Yeah. Child's vaccine was pointless, and other than saying I'm tired during the 25-minute drive home, he was very active in Norm Watcher's vaccines. You know what? That's actually good though, because honestly, when my kids are sick, I feel so bad. I'm like, do you want ice cream? Do you need anything? You know what? Here, you can stay on the couch and you can get the big TV. I'll just watch on my phone anything, like.
I feel like kids are, I mean, I want to say this probably because of how I saw myself as a sick kid, but I feel like I was very sweet when I was sick.
Mm-hmm. But my kids haven't been turds. They're just, like, they feel miserable. And I think even if they are a turd, I give them a huge pass on it, so.
I like this. The person who gave the jab said it was painless. I was like, okay.
Wow.
That's how you know it's like, you're like, okay.
But I mean, for a kid shot, I would prefer not to have a freaking horse tranquilizer size like needle, you know? Like, I think kid shot should be modified for kids, not just in the makeup of it, but also how the shot is delivered. Let's get something smaller in diameter. We're not trying to get their bone marrow. I mean,
so the first doctor and only doctor I actually ever went to as a child, I don't even think he stuck me with a needle. He might have drawn blood, maybe. And I hated him for like years.
How dare you?
He was always so nice. He was just like, hi. And I was just like, you're mean. And I was like straight up telling him to his face, you're mean. You stuck me with a needle. You stabbed me. The poor guy didn't even do anything wrong.
It's funny, like when Zoe and when Spencer were born, they did this thing what we call is the poof face, and it's the kid's face going like the really mad. Both of them made that face after being born, like, how dare you pull me out? And they're looking straight at the nurse or whoever's holding them in the picture, going like, how dare you pull me out of there? That was nice and warm. Dishonor on you.
That's funny because I did that to my brother. Like, he was so excited to see me, and I was just like,
you're already here. Okay. our doctor's office has the nurses do vaccines, and these nurses are so fast. You can tell they've done vaccines a lot. 5 seconds and they're done. I love watching the video where they're like, it's almost like a magician. They're like, hey, yeah, how's it going? Put the Band-Aid on, and the kid's just like, the Band-Aid's on, and the kid goes, wait, I got a shot? Like, those people, amazing. That is a superpower. I need that.
So when my brother was little, we had to go to the dentist for him for something. He had to have a tooth pulled. And, they did the x-rays, and, they give him that, like, gross banana stuff.
Yeah.
And they wanted to distract me because they were afraid that if I saw the needle, I would give it away and scare him, because they were trying to hide the needle from both of us. So they, like, sent me to a room where they had, like, a box of candy and toys, and they were like, go pick out some stuff that you want, just to, like, get me out of the way. And so I, like, picked out a couple things, and they were like, pick out something for your brother too, because apparently I came back too fast. So we got home, and my brother's like, oh, that didn't even hurt. They just, like, pulled the tooth and it was fine. And my mom was like, they numbed you. They didn't just, like, pull the tooth. And he was like, no, they didn't. And she was like, oh, they did.
Are you kidding me? I've had my mouth numbed, and those needles hurt.
I don't know how they did it. I do not know how they did it, because my mom was like, it was not a small needle either. This assistant, I guess she was a hygienist, was so fast and so sneaky. I didn't see it. He didn't.
I'm wondering if a lot of these people who deal out shots, if they've been like pickpocketers or something, right? Or magicians on the side, like anything that requires sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh, she was good, because, and I was mad because I was like, no, I wanted to see the needle, because of course I did. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Thing. But
just he was talking about, they usually like have a long Q-tip, like, and that's what, so like, it's a topical thing. Then they put the shot.
Yeah, and that was the only part that he remembered. He was like, "Oh yeah, she gave me that stuff, and it tasted gross, and blah 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 blah." I don't know how she did it though. She did that, distracted him, jabbed him with a big old needle, and he never was the wiser.
Yeah, considering the amount of trauma that can happen, yeah. My daughter and son, they ended up having so my daughter and husband had dentist appointments, and my husband tries to schedule it like around the same time so they can just go together. And then I had something with work, and so my husband had to take our son, and I felt really bad. Like, it was a whole ordeal of like, I'm sorry I didn't get home in time. And but he's like, no, the kid, like, he's excited to go, it's fine. Well, of course, Spencer later ended up being a turd, but he also brought up, hey, Spencer's 4. It's about that time he needs to go to the dentist. We need to show him that it's not scary and stuff like that. And he, pretty much, Spencer was bored the entire time. I was like, can we go home yet? Are we done yet? Are you done yet? Like, the whole time, apparently.
I just, sidebar, before we get into the prompt, can I just say that I looked over and Dobby had the trash can laying over on its side and was half in it?
Was it empty, or was there something he was going for?
There's stuff in there.
Oh.
It's, guess. Just guess what it is.
Food?
Plastic wrappers. No food, just plastic.
Oh my gosh.
Every time.
Do they put the plastic wrappers in like catnip or something?
At this point, I'm beginning to wonder, because it's the only thing he ever goes after. Barrett, hi
dear. Yeah, we're about to start, I promise. I haven't seen Chandra so long, so we're like catching up.
It's been 84 years.
Yes.
Also, we're just gabbing about fun dentist experience.
Yeah, I mean, we've like gone over everything. We talked about shots, and we talked about going to get a shot, kids getting shots, going to the dentist, and so on and so forth. My son just asked, yes, Spence, what do you need?
Oh, wow.
We are not going to call Grandma until after lunch. this is an everyday thing. That's the only reason why I spoke that way, by the way. Like, normally I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy, no problem. Okay. All right. As he had a rough, is at a rough first dentist appointment experience. That dentist met us for one appointment and was just not into it. So second appointment, they knew it would be tough, but met us in the hallway and didn't even have his 1X.
His coat off.
His coat off, trying to get him to open his mouth. He wouldn't. So they said that he had 10 minutes or there wasn't enough time. 10 minutes later, we left. The dentist is trying to bill us for that. Oh my gosh. That appointment, $380 for the second appointment. First appointment paid. We got the new dentist and got everything done. Also paid. Oh my god.
That would be. Oh, I'd be so mad. I will
for
say
10 minutes. Like, you didn't prep anything. You didn't. And any of you prepped, your tools weren't used. Or whatever. Like, so, like, and then also, how much does it cost to sanitize tools if you did use them? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's got to be a lot more leniency when you're dealing with kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially if you want to keep build your practice and have people continue to come. If the kids are problematic, as long as the parent pays and is pleasant, then I feel like you just know someone's got to deal with kids who are just not feeling it.
Yeah. I mean, there's specialty practices to handle neurodivergent kids. Mm-hmm. And they deal with a lot more. And this is different than the doctor where you can like look over a child's body. The mouth, what are you going to do? Like pull their jaw down or something? No, you have to guide them into it and have to have them open it.
Well, and that's just going to traumatize them more. So that the next time it's going to be harder. Yeah, I feel like that in and of itself would make it like they can pick up on the tension in the situation and be like stressed by that.
Yeah, if that affects your credit score, I would sue for damages because it's like, don't call me for anything. By the way, Barrett Spencer is prioritizing family time, but 1, he always talks to grandma after lunch. 2, the reason he talks to her after lunch is because she has a crazy sleep schedule, and so she's asleep right now, most likely.
See, I feel like the other dentist had something going on, and he was just like, this is not a vibe, and I feel like you will not be doing anything to my teeth. I will say, though, on the other hand of like crazy dentist experiences, which none of these have been mine, but my brother had another one. I know. He's like, for some, I don't know what she was doing, but when she was trying to numb the area to like do a filling for him, she slipped with the needle and ended up like going way up into his cheek, and the whole side of his face was like numb, and his like he couldn't stop tearing up because like he had almost no control over his eye. His whole face was numb. He like couldn't. It was like he couldn't control the side of his mouth. Whatever she did was so bad that they like fixed everything, and they didn't bill him for it. They were just like, you know what? Here you go.
Please don't sue us. Please don't sue us.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Bless your brother's heart. Like he had a great experience, and then karma was like, no. You need to know how bad it can be.
The scales must be balanced.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got to get started though because it's 9:00 and we got 2 hours now.
We got to write quick. All right.
This work thing is for the birds. Barrett, we miss you. Work thing is for the birds.
Okay.
And they're paying me to write today because I'm in a revision groove and streaming from work. Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh.
I was like, I didn't write a comment. I'm such a diggling. I'm going to go pin that over on the YouTube.
All right. So today's prompt is an interview on live TV. The words to include are bishop, impish, amoeba, sheep, denim, jet, apricot, sepia, whatever, nipple, and below. Every time I see the word nipple, it makes me think of Cable Guy, where they were playing Password, and Jim Carrey goes, "The password is nipple," and Matthew Broderick is like, "No, I'm not gonna say that to my mother." And the mom's like, "What, honey? We're all adults." And like, he's an adult, but I mean, I can also understand. I could understand some people. For me, I've talked to my mom about crazy things, so it doesn't quite matter. But that's my little side note is nipple always makes me think of the movie The Cable Guide and them playing Password.
Oh gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I feel like it's gonna be really hard to kill someone in this.
No, actually, I had an idea already when I was typing it up. I had an idea of how to.
Then I will leave that to you. And I think.
Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if I'm going to go that way because for me, it's not killing somebody; it's killing everybody.
Oh,
like in the world.
Well, in that case, we will begin in 3, 2, and 1. Oh no. I'm not ready. Also, I don't know why it just started playing another timer because autoplay is off.
Oh, yeah. What's funny is that I didn't have my headphones in, so I just saw the screen change above me, and I looked up and I didn't see the timer, and I'm like, no! Because I wasn't ready.
I have not used all my words. I still have 4 words.
I do too, and I still gotta, like, write more. Like, in the sense of, like, I know what else is gonna happen in this.
Same.
But I at least know a good place to stop it. So where if I was to stop the story right here, it would still be like feel like a complete story almost, but not quite because there is more.
Can we? Oh wait, no. I just actually got one of those 4 words in. Can we do 5 more minutes?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's do 5 more minutes, and then we'll go straight into reading.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna throw that up here now. Let's see here. I feel like I can finish this in 5 minutes. Okay. Here we go. I was like, what happened? All right. 3, 2, and 1.
And yeah, I was gonna say a new timer started. I just looked up and saw 1 second. I was like, okay, first off, that 5 minutes went way too quick. Then I saw the timer start again. I'm like, what?
That was crazy. That was so fast.
I know, because I typed the whole time.
Dobby, absolutely not. You cannot have. I made a little bit of oatmeal because I was really hungry. In the previous sprint.
I've been eating Pop-Tarts, fed my son, and I had hot chocolate with dehydrated marshmallows.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I got like a massive, hold on, I gotta show you all this. 2 seconds.
I was gonna make, so I made coffee, and sometimes I'll make hot chocolate, or I'll use coffee as the base and then put hot chocolate in it. But I was out of hot chocolate, and I didn't realize that. So I just had coffee and made some cinnamon oatmeal.
Okay.
Butter.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's good. I'm done.
Okay. So for anybody who gets like the Swiss Miss hot chocolate packets, and you sometimes get the one with the marshmallows, it sometimes feels like there's not enough marshmallows in it. So in case you're wondering, this is available on Amazon, full of dehydrated marshmallows for you to put in your hot chocolate. And it is wonderful, and it tastes exactly, when you eat it by itself, it tastes exactly like Lucky Charms marshmallows, because they're not flavored.
That sounds amazing.
But yeah, it is vanilla dehydrated marshmallow bits from Sarah's Candy Factory. Ooh.
Okay, I'm done for real this time.
I'm not, but I think this is an okay starting point because I want to make sure we get through. Though I did get a lot more words in. The only word I don't have is nipple right now.
Actually, that was one of the first ones that I got in. I'm at 532 words.
Much faster than but I didn't even start until like after 20 minutes.
Well, I took 2 breaks to like
484 experiment. Oh, I should have copied that.
Oh, I by the way, Dobby, stop it.
Gmail.
Yes.
Sure, okay.
I'm actually quite happy with this. It's not a comedy.
Mine became a comedy, but
mine has a trigger warning.
Oh.
Sorry. So sorry, fine folk. Even when we had the comedy of errors, I'm like, you want to go dark and cover some social issues? Why am I like this? But anyway, you want to go dark and cover some social issues? Also, as a sidebar, there's some dialogue in here that I want to work on.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things of like, I wouldn't have written it that way necessarily if it weren't for the fact that I need to use these words. But also the words do inspire the story. Like the 10 words do truly inspire parts of the story. So including them in that part of the story is more of setting the tone for that part versus actually being an obstruction to the way that I want to tell the story, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. All right. If you don't mind reading mine first, because I'm going to read yours first after the second prompt. So that we, if we need to, we can get you out.
Good call. Okay, I'm ready. Hold on, let me drink some. Hydrate, everybody. Hydrate. Look, I bought a new water bottle, and tell me why it matches everything in my office still.
In your entire aesthetic. Because the reason we have these 2 colors in flash fiction is that the blue was my color, and then the blue my color, and then the green on your side was like your color, which matches your walls, which matches your chair, which matches now your water ball.
And my coffee cup. And my bowl. And my shirt. And my planner. Do I have a problem?
No, you're managing it quite nicely.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, Natalie's story. As the end of the day, one more time. As the end of days draws near, What are you doing with your final moments? The reporter asked to whatever audience could be watching. A tripod for a camera was set up just 6 feet away from her on the pier, but no camera operator was near. The wind was mild, but overcast skies gave warning of the impending storm. Many people were out, but all were frantic and impish, trying to be somewhere other than where they currently were, while being sure to snag an electronic from storefronts on their way. Still, the reporter spoke into the wired microphone and stared into the lens of the camera. As you can see, looting is still prevalent, but also there's less interaction among those outside. Most seem to be focused on items or seeing family. Maybe I can get one of these fine people to speak to me. The reporter turned to the people walking behind her and called out to different passersby. Excuse me, do you have a... Pardon me, if you don't mind, if you could just... Every single person speed walked faster away, and none engaged the reporter, like sheep being herded, but each one by a different dog. The reporter plastered a smile and held the microphone with both hands, encircling the cylinder as if she would consume it like an amoeba. As you can see, those of you who have stopped moving and chosen to join us, we thank you and hope that all those behind me find what they are looking for before it's decided if they're going above or below. At that moment, a woman with a pixie haircut and a denim jacket eating an apricot stood next to the reporter. The reporter jolted, but composed herself quickly. Hello, do you have a moment to discuss what your plans are for today? The woman swallowed and wiped her mouth with the sleeve of her mouth on her sleeve as she nodded. Sure, I got all the time in the world. The reporter let out a small chuckle. Yes, well, what are you doing today? The woman looked around. What I normally do. I engage in something I haven't done before, and I people watch. Last week I rode in a sepia jet. Just this morning I won a game of chess with a bishop. Keeping her composure, the reporter nodded. Do you have any other plans for your final moments? The woman looked puzzled. Final moments? There are no final moments. The reporter's confusion shone on her face. But we all are. We're leaving our mortal shells, and our souls will be decided where to spend eternity. The woman laughed. Yes, exactly. Eternity means this isn't the final moments then, right? And shedding your mortal skin isn't a problem. I do it every day. The reporter nodded, but pursed her lips to stop herself from laughing at the suggestion. The shedding skin part is like...
Yeah, I try to put some humor in there. Where this is going to go is that it turns out that the woman eating the apricot is God.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and
I love how blasé she is too. She's just it's like I do something different that I haven't done every day, and the usual. Her usual is doing something different every day, and just that I really want to know more about that character though. She seems fun.
I was surprised how I was able to get through it this far. But I mean, at the end of the point is that everyone's going to die. But I kind of like the idea of, well, you're not. It's just if it's eternity, then technically this is an end of days. How can this end? But I did want to make. I think I was going to go bright a bit and say the use that phrase of something's beginning is always something else's ending.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like, what if there is a, you know, I wouldn't say 2.0 Earth but still like that 2.0 human development, like starting over again.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because my idea is like, what if like the entire world like sucks back into nothing and then we start a new Big Bang or something involved differently?
That would be interesting. I like it. I think the story is just, even though it has a really tense subject, I think it's really fun and lighthearted at the same time.
Yeah, I blame watching Good Omens.
I've not seen it. I need to, but I also want to read the books first.
Yeah, it's just one book so far.
Is it? Okay.
And one book and then season 1.
Okay.
On Prime. So, and you have until tomorrow at 12, since that's when on Nia's channel we're doing Scripting the Book on Good Omens.
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it. So what had happened was, sidebar really quick, I read a book series, found out there was a prequel series to that book series, went back and read that prequel book series, finally got some backstory that I really needed in order to understand the book series that I just read. So now I'm rereading the book series.
It's a whole ordeal.
It is.
Not to mention all the nonfiction you've been reading.
Oh gosh, yes. But for the first time, well, not the first time, but like for the second time this year, I'm actually on track with my reading goal, as I think I've read 52 books so far.
Yay!
And that my total goal, I've read 53 books, and my goal for the year is 75. So, go me. Back to your story.
Okay.
There's a couple parts where it's a little bit
jumbled, yeah. I need to just spell check, like put when a game of chess with only a bishop. I
didn't quite pick that up. I think that would be, just some little clarifications, but I think you hearing it read out loud kind of clarifies where some of those little stumbling blocks are. Yeah. So I think that's good. I do really like your use of dashes in here. I think that's something that makes it easier to read the reporter's tone, and it's like very clear to pick those parts up. So I think that was a great use of punctuation. I also really, really liked every single person speed walked faster away and none engaged the reporter, like sheepdogs being herded, but each one by a different dog. I thought that was really cool. I like the way you put that. So that was like my highlight moment.
Because at first I put herded like sheep, and then I was like, but sheep go together. Everyone's doing their own thing. And I was like, well, they got their own dog then.
I like it. I think that was really clever. So
yeah, I felt proud of myself on that one.
Yeah. Oh, also, in the consuming the microphone like it was an amoeba gave a super clear image, and I like that usage of amoeba.
Yeah. Well, and the only time I use amoebas, I usually describe it as when I'm trying to go to sleep at night and my husband wants to cuddle, he amoebas me. Like, pretty much if you take our bed, like over 10 years, though we don't have the same bed that we had 10 years ago. We've had it for 8 years. So we're getting rid of it next year, but we've already flipped it. But there's like, it's always sunken on my side because he's always right there. But it's okay because in the winter I'm like, yes, Space Eater, please come.
That's funny.
But it's definitely. I hear you. I love you still. Winter's coming.
We have so much stuff to talk about. Because the new Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, but House of the Dragon.
Yes, I haven't seen it yet, and I need to.
Okay, I need you to do that, please, so we can talk about this.
Oh, you can still talk to me about it because I'm still gonna watch it. It's not gonna ruin it for me.
Okay, we need to put something on the calendar for that.
Oh, we could totally do like our own little watch party. Okay, yes, I will read yours. So I'm pretty much, I need to work on my like probably read it out loud and make those small corrections on grammar and such, and then of course give you more.
Yep.
Okay. All right, now change of story. Trigger warning: harassment. I didn't want to see him, even though he was giving us an interview on live TV in a primetime spot. All I could see was his new magazine cover, him tugging at the half-button shirt revealing smooth skin and a dark nipple. His impish grin was the same, whether or not he was fully clothed. and I didn't feel safe from him, regardless of how many people were around us. Everyone loved him. It wasn't just that his father was a bishop. The scandal from that alone was enough to give him a name, or that his mother was the Olivia. Charm poured off him in spades. He could sing, act, dance. He was a triple threat. Nerves danced in my stomach like an amoeba. I straightened my skirt one more time, pacing in my little corner of the studio. It wasn't just being on camera with this guy. It was the idea of being on camera with him and my boss, Dan Morgan. Everything had been fine when I started the job. Better than fine, till Dan saw me looking at the magazine cover. Dylan West was the heartthrob, no doubt, but Dan's anger was more than disdain from the... You need to go talk to Dad. Nope. No, I'm busy. I'm in the middle of reading. Please go. Thank you, buddy. Okay. I told you after lunch. Didn't need me while you were reading my story, Chandra. Okay. Kids. All right. Dylan West was a heartthrob, no doubt, but Dan's anger was more than disdain for a girlish whim. He loathed Dylan, Olivia, and the bishop, all with no reasonable explanation from that day. My work life was hell. That's why it was so shocking when Dan mentioned in the producers' meeting that he had managed to get Dylan to come on the morning show. It had been around that time that other things about Dan began to reveal themselves. A hand straying a little too low down my back, tucking a stray strand of hair behind my ear. Little things covered by, "Can we get a wardrobe over here? This top doesn't look right." It always sounded like he was trying to take care of me, but he wasn't, and I seemed to be the only one who noticed it. "Abby," someone said, "they're ready for you on set." I felt like I stood out too much in my own apricot blouse, but followed meekly like a sheep. I took my seat on the couch between Dan and Dylan. Dan patted my knee where the skirt wasn't long enough to cover my skin. The gesture made me itch. Dylan looked casual and comfortable in a denim and floral button-down. I tried not to look at him. "Are you okay?" he asked. I smiled and nodded numbly. "Get those cue cards where I can see them," Dan shouted. The countdown ended. Dan launched into his standard intro. I sat still, petrified. I knew I looked like it too. The moment would be forever memorialized on the internet. "So, Dylan, how was your jet ride over here?" Dan asked, sounding snide. "It was bad," Dylan said. "Are you still harassing your employees, Dan?" I felt a blush creep up my cheeks, and the edges of my vision faded to sepia. The sound faded around me, and I could only hear the rush of blood in my ears. "Oh, you are going to bellow at everyone now. Are you going to get mad because it's still true?" Was it bellow this whole time and not below? Holy crap. Whoops. Bravo to you to not call me out on that shit. Okay. So yeah, I need more because I felt like that ending was just you have so much left and everything, because I still don't know what their issues are with each other. It's definitely personal. I just don't know what exactly. Dan is definitely creep. Dylan seems very charismatic, and it's you start thinking. I admit it. I started thinking maybe Dylan was dangerous and he had done something to our main character, like a while ago, and it makes her nervous. That technically could still be true, but then it like shifts and you realize it's Dan is the villain here. is what it comes down to. So I do like that shift. It was very like the in Stranger Things, the Dylan brothers, Duffer brothers, I mean, they kind of do the same thing where usually whoever starts out as the villain becomes like your favorite person by the end of the show. So I definitely like that. There was only a few parts, and you heard it, where I got tumbled up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, at this point, we can leave it aloof to whether how bad Dan is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, I think that's fine. But I feel like we at least have to answer, why do they hate each other? Because apparently once Dylan comes in, it's not like Dan's one-sided jealous. No, Dylan knows and speaks up. So I need to find out, like, you know, something. Like, I could see it being something as a simple line that the person who had our main character's job before she did was Dylan's sister or something. Half sister, adopted sister, or something like that, to smooth over being a bishop's son or whatever. Or maybe the mother, the Olivia or whatever, she had other children, so it's half sibling. And then if his sister had the same job and Dylan knows about it, we can discern of, Dan is a total creep, and Dylan believes his sister, and his sister must have been a victim to that or something like that.
So I have a backstory for that in mind.
Yes.
And it actually relates more to Olivia, Dylan's mom.
Oh.
And her and Dan having a previous relationship.
Okay, then we need to get Dan's age, because I assume Dan and Dylan were like around the same age.
Okay, no. Yeah, no. So I think that probably also makes Dan even creepier.
It
when
does.
you find out that he's significantly older, that Abby and Dylan are around the same age, and Dan is older.
Yeah.
And dated.
So you could fix that after it seems like Dan is trying to take care of me, being the senior, well, and even then be like, he's been in this business longer than I have, or something like that. And even then it would only get him a few years. You wouldn't be able to get him to full, or say like a father figure. That would set it. If you said he was like taking care of her like a father would.
Yeah, something along those lines, and just kind of imply that he's like had a guiding hand in her career. And then I feel like the guiding hand in her career part would make his hand on her knee even creepier. And then also add in that he has, there's not a reason on paper or something along those lines, where it's like, there isn't a reason that he should be listed as an executive producer on this, but it's like you can see it in the credits of every show.
Yeah,
something along the I kind of want to throw those things in, so it's clear that he is much older than her, that he does have the career advantage, and that he has acted as a mentor prior to all of this.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, once you explain it more, because otherwise, when I was still picturing Dan and Dylan like around the same age, then you said no with his mother Olivia, and I'm like, Mrs. Robinson, like immediately that's where my mind went. But now it makes much sense.
No. Well, that's good feedback though, because it's definitely not like that. I want it to be clear that there is a good reason that.
Ooh, I love your face right now. Yes.
So what if not only Dan was dating Olivia, Dylan's mom. This was after Dylan was born, so he was like, Dan was almost like Dylan's stepdad. But nobody knew who Dylan's actual dad was. And not only was Dan really hateful to Dylan and treated Olivia badly, he's also the one who broke the story about who Dylan's real
And that's how he got to be able to move up in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really good.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Do it. And now we've immortalized it in this video, so thus you cannot not find it later. Awesome. All right, I already got the next prompt.
Love it.
Let me just copy and paste real quick, just to make sure. Okay, prompt number 2 is, and then I'm going to paste it into the comment thing. Prompt number 2, it's a setup, is the prompt. The words to include are acrobat, blurt, jolt, gargantuous, it's so hard, or gregarious, sorry, God, my eyes. Okay, gregarious, tortoise. I thought this was permission at first, then I realized no, it's persimmon.
Persimmon? Is it persimmon?
Persimmon.
Let me see.
Balk, follow, gasp, and deli.
What is with fruits in today?
Yeah, I'm glad I ate breakfast. What's persimmon? I know gregarious is like gaudy almost, right? Or obnoxious and everything.
I don't, you know, it's a good question. Hold on, let me get the sociable. He was a popular and gregarious man. So
oh, never mind. Not the negative connotation I thought.
Yeah. But I was like, I'm not sure because I feel like I've seen it in both contexts. And acrobat, blurt, jolt, gregarious. What if the story is about a gregarious tortoise?
Hey, we haven't done the challenge where all of our characters are animals.
No. Oh, I just read The Wind in the Willows.
Oh,
I'd never read that before.
I don't think I have either, but I know the story.
Oh, you should read it. It's so good. It's a quick read too, and
yeah,
you can definitely read it with kids. I think I would.
I've been reading Charlotte's Web to my son at night, and I've been having fun because I give it the characters' voices, and Charlotte is really sweet and talks like this, whereas Wilbur kind of comes out like this a little bit of Southern, but kind of a young voice, and Mrs. Zuckerman is that Southern lady that's a little bit too loud.
That is fabulous.
Yeah. And then, whereas Mr. Zuckerman is that like Southern drawl man that like think of John, what's his name? Why am I thinking John Candy? It's oh my God, he was the husband of in Roseanne, John Goodman. Think John Goodman in the not the Odyssey, but the thing that's like the Odyssey, that movie that I can't think of. And if my husband was here, he'd make fun of me for it. But his voice in there, that Southern. Or Big Daddy in The Princess and the Frog, that voice, which is actually voiced by John Goodman. But that's the voice.
So I feel like we have requests. Is it open access? Public domain. I knew what you meant. I was like, yes, good question. 100% was with you, Eva. But is it because can you do that?
I mean, if it's open domain, then yeah, I could.
If you would please, your public awaits.
I would what I'd probably do, because I screw up the words sometimes. I'd have to record, not using my face and everything, and
you can pre-record the episodes.
Yeah, I could do it by episode, because I was thinking, how long would it take me to record and everything? But honestly, reading to my son at night, because I put voices to everything. We read a Goosebumps book, and I made there was a vampire in it, but it was an old vampire who didn't have his fangs. So I made him an old man like this, and I can move my mouth a little bit. Oh, Templeton. Templeton's one of my favorites, because Templeton talks out of the side of his mouth like this and a little bit fast, like he's from New York.
Why are you so good at this? Please make it happen. Any open source stuff that's like that, like kids books.
I honestly feel like I should do it. I should have like an entire thing. But I'm like, oh my God, could I be a voice actor? Sometimes.
Absolutely.
But I have to admit, because I'm only reading like a chapter a day, I always screw up Miss Arabelle and Miss Suckerman a little bit. And I try to figure out exactly how to make it work and stuff. So I kind of forget some of the voices between nights, but my son doesn't keep track of that, so it's fine.
I don't think we will either, but if you're wanting to go back and refresh your memory on the voices, you can always go back and look at what you
True. Yeah, if I'm recording ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So and then the sheep, I get to do the sheep because the sheep talk like this, but the goose always talks like this because they repeat themselves over and over, and that's how the goose talks. I have fun with this.
This sounds so fun. I would please do that because I will 100% listen to it. You know how I am about audiobooks, and I'm trying to go back and read all the books that I like missed out on as a kid. So also
I just learned I'm going to be having new content. So awesome. Yeah. Okay. Prompt number 2. We've said it out loud. Do we have a timer?
We have a timer.
Did I copy it yet? Yes, I did copy it.
It's pinned.
Perfect. All right, we're doing great.
So what was their challenge?
All animals.
All animals. Okie doke.
Yep. So gregarious tortoise apparently is going to be one of yours. I'm going to still have to persimmon and gregarious. I'm going to have to look up just to make sure that I got a vibe.
Did y'all hear that? That was Dobby. I gave him a little squeeze.
Every time, like, I'm hugging too tightly, or I'm being hugged too tightly, or my cats or whatever are being hugged, I go, oh, Sassy can't breathe.
That's 100% what he did. You know, the funny thing is, though, I know he likes it because he always does a little meow and then he like kind of like it sounds like he's being hugged too hard, and then he like starts purring even louder.
No.
And when he's done with hugs, then he's like, okay, put me down.
Like, we're good. You've served your purpose.
More or less.
Okay. All right.
Here we go. All the characters are animals, and we're going in 3, 2, and 1.
You know, I might actually put voices to yours, Chandra.
Do it. I do not understand why the autoplay starts
Still going on. I'm so proud of myself with this one. Like, I feel like it's a children's book easily, but then it's not. It would be like more like an adult cartoon, maybe at times too. I don't know. It has the children aspect, and then it also has like the adult humor thrown in there of that. So I don't know. Interestingly enough,
I think mine is very kiddie and kiddie appropriate, which surprised me.
Which is fine. So old grumpy mama came in and and even noticed that both of our names have 7 characters. My first name and my real last name also have 7 characters, and then my maiden name has 7 characters. Yeah. So now that my maiden name is my middle name, because that's what we do in the South, and I didn't think it was weird until I moved out of the South. But my there's the mark of the beast of 666. I got 777. So does that mean I'm holy?
I think so.
Yeah. I was expecting my husband to say something, but he didn't. I looked over. Oh, he said it was there. He just didn't say it out loud.
That's funny.
His mind was thinking about it. Okay. I am copying, and then I'm opening back up the Google Doc to throw in at the bottom. Scroll, 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 scroll. Okay, what characters do you have so I can get these? I'm going to try to get some sounds.
I think I have 4 characters, several of whom never speak, but the primary characters are Gregory.
What's Gregory?
Gregory is the tortoise.
Okay.
Alice, who is a field mouse.
Oh.
And Patty, who is a partridge.
Partridge. All right. Okay. I have, I didn't give them names. They're just tortoise and rabbit. They talk to each other, and then a wolf comes around and talks. Those are the only 3 talking characters, but there are other characters. So I kind of ran into the issue where I have, and I was thinking about this when I was typing. I was like, whenever you have the characters like called Bear, like think of Franklin, even though Franklin had the name when he was a turtle, but his friends were Beaver, Bear, and Rabbit. And I'm like, that only works if only one of that species comes up. If you got more than one of the species, why does one get the name and everyone else is called Bob? Michelle? I don't know. So either way. Okay, let me go ahead and read yours first. We're now past my story. Okay. Okay, so Gregory's a tortoise, and then we got a field mouse and Alice and the Patty the partridge. Okay, Gregory was famous for his deli. The gregarious tortoise gregarious. Why am I always thinking large? Gregarious tortoise made a mean pastrami sandwich and was known for his chicken salad across the land. No one minded that he did everything slowly because he was a tortoise, and everyone understood that Gregory was a sit-down restaurant and didn't serve any fast food. Usually the restaurant wasn't busy around lunch because animals would balk at the wait since they had to be back at work. But some folks who weren't busy would always be there during the quiet times, which kept Gregory busy. He preferred to know that in advance, and many of the animals called in their order in advance. The regulars didn't have to worry about that because they knew Greg was already knew their orders by heart and would work the most efficient manner to get them ready on time. The only waitress at Gregory's was Alice. Alice was also an acrobat, which made her extra good at her job. She was nimble and graceful. Nobody minded if a field mouse brought them their dinner. Every morning about 11 o'clock, Patty the partridge came in with her basket. Today it held one large persimmon. Come on, Natalie. Today was difficult for Patty because she was on her way to help a friend, and she was in a hurry. Alice, Patty said, I'm ready for my lunch. Alice ran to the kitchen with a jolt of energy that made her extra fast. Gregory, Patty is here. She needs her lunch now. Whenever Alice spoke her words, she seemed to come out of in a song, arriving before she entered the room and leaving well after she run past. I'm almost finished making her sandwich. Will there be anything for Mr. Belmabus today? Mr. Gregory always managed to sound very tired when he talked, which was different from Mr. Bombabus, the toad, because Mr. Bombabus seemed to blurt things out. So you see, he was just the opposite. I already forgot what I had for the mouse. No, Gregory dear, Patty dear. No, Gregory, Patty dear is really in a hurry. Miss Goose has a brood hatching, and she hasn't had any lunch. Patty is trying to get over here with persimmon for her right now. Tell her it will be just a moment. But Alice had already told Patty that it would be just a moment. She'd run in and out of the kitchen 4 or 5 times by the time Gregory had finished what he was saying. He talked so slowly that the third time Alice ran into the kitchen, Patty had checked the time to follow her through and hear what Gregory was saying for herself. When Patty walked out of the kitchen, there was a gasp. Patty almost dropped her sandwich. Alice almost ran into Patty's back. Barnabas sat... Oh, it's Barnabas this whole time. I swear there was an M somewhere else. Barnabas sat on one of the log benches, his legs crossed with knobby knees. You're early, Alice shrieked. It's a setup, Gregory said. Only it took him forever to say it, and Alice had already said everything that needed to be said and more. Who sang this part? Alice, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
okay. You're really very early. We can't possibly manage if Patty is in a hurry and Barnabas is early, and what if all the regulars come for lunch? How about Miss Goose and her brood? I hope today is a good day for the hatching, but if she brings in the goslings, there's no way we can keep up with that. We're already so busy. I think we might need to get more help, don't you, Gregory? Well, Patty said, smoothing her apron, I'm off to see Mrs. Goose. Aw. Okay. So Josephine is saying check your things.
Okay, will do.
I really kind of wanted to get Barnabas in here because I was already in my head thinking, oh, how would I toad sound and everything. And then I don't get the setup part because he's running a business unless he was about to get robbed.
Oh, I think he was making a joke that Patty was early or that Patty was hurried. Barnabas was early. And he was like,
yeah,
set up.
So even though he's like slow and not in the mind, he's sharp. He's got jokes.
Yes.
It reminds me. So my grandfather, before he passed away, we were visiting. It was my sister, my mother, and myself. And my grandfather was like 83. He does word puzzles all the time, and everything. Well, he wasn't feeling well, and this was before he got diagnosed with prostate cancer. But he ended up collapsing in the bathroom while my sister and I were away, but my mother was there. So she called the ambulance and everything. My mom's a nurse. My sister's a nurse. I'm the only one that didn't go in the medical field. And we come back, and apparently while my mother is talking to the EMTs and my grandfather has a oxygen mask on, she goes, I think he's 84 now and everything. And he goes, 83. And then just puts the mask back on, like with kind of like so much old man sass.
Yeah.
That story was just, I loved coming back and hearing that. I mean, I hated that we were coming back and there was the ambulance there and stuff. And then my sister totally went like full. She's like, I'm an ER nurse. Just lay it to me straight. You don't have to like sugarcoat or anything. And I was like, all right, you have fun with that. I'm going to go inside. This is not my field.
Yeah. So, but I think the sass is funny. But yeah, I do think that was part of it for me, is that he's like, he's methodical. He plans everything out. Everybody knows how he operates because
I like that they work with that. They call ahead and stuff. Like I like how much information you're able to put in here of showing how this place works, how the tortoise works with other people and everything. And I think you could have. The only thing that I think would kind of add to it a little bit more, and you kind of did it, was you talked about some of the food that they make.
To give what everybody orders.
Yeah, like if you were like even say Miss Patty wants this, always wants this, Mr. Barnabas wants this.
Like where I talk about Alice coming in and out of the kitchen 4 or 5 times before he even finished what he's saying. I think Alice should be talking to him the whole time. So even though he's talking, she's like keeping up a steady
and then you can break up where his sentence is broken up and everything. I like that. I love that.
I'm gonna have to play with this. I do want to read your story because I have 6 minutes to read it.
Go ahead.
So let me read it really, really quick if I can. Also, I don't have any voices, and I'm going to be reading as fast as humanly possible. So
go for it.
Hopefully
I don't stumble you with my horrible typos.
Just a trip to the bakery near Delhi. Then Tortoise asked Rabbit as she moseyed down the dirt path. Rabbit hopped ahead, then hopped beside Tortoise before hopping ahead again. Yep. Then to the farmer's stand as well. I hear the persimmons have come in perfectly this year, Rabbit said. She stopped. Well, I shall follow you there. After I get some stale bread, Tortoise said. Could you please stop the acrobatics? I'm afraid you're going to fall on. Tortoise was only able to blurt out the warning for a second before Rabbit was too strong with her left foot in her jump, resulting in her back colliding with Tortoise's hard shell and flattening Tortoise's belly to the ground as Rabbit rolled off. Both gasped for air as they steadied themselves. I warned you, Tortoise said between breaths. After I was in the air, Rabbit replied, just as winded. And now you don't have to worry about breathing again, said Wolf, as she and her pack emerged from the bushes and trees along the path. Tortoise and Rabbit shook with a jolt. Wolf picked up a pear that dropped from the tree Rabbit was hopping below and tossed it in Rabbit's direction. Consider it your last meal, Wolf said. As the pack descended closer and closer to the weakened pair, the ground began to vibrate and the thunderous pulse was heard. Tortoise and Rabbit could only balk as the stampede of rabbits cascading in front of them, sending the wolves running or being trampled by thousands of paws and the most precarious of at the most precarious of places. As the stampede lessened, all but one of the pack was gone. Wolf was lying on her side, groaning as this final small rabbit stepped in her eye before bouncing off behind the rest of the herd. I'm sure glad you're a gregarious bunch, Tortoise said as she walked along the path again with Rabbit. Rabbit looked puzzled, then laughed. What, man? They're not my friends. Just my mother's half of the family.
I thought of that when I was nearing the end, and I was like, "Oh, that's just my mother's side."
That is so funny, and I also like the rabbit stepping on the wolf's side. That is hilarious. I love that, and I feel like you should do a short story collection of just like animal, like kids / adult animal stories.
And then I could read that out loud, no problem, on my YouTube.
Absolutely. Do it. I think the cleverness of that's just my mother's half of the family, and also the rabbit stepping on the eye were the ones that made me chuckle the most. But I also liked I warned you. And the rabbit be like, dude, I was already in the air. Like, what do you want me to do? Love it. This was a fun challenge. I think we should.
It was.
Do this again.
I love this challenge. I thought it was great to do.
And I know it's funny because we've been putting that challenge off for such a long time, but I think it's really.
This actually worked out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
On that note, I do have to skedaddle.
Links. You're on Chandra's YouTube. Links are good, and it will be on my channel next week. So can't wait to see all y'all there. Thank you for coming out, and appreciate everything that y'all do for us of just hanging around. And hey, you know what? Bravo to Chandra for not killing a character in this last one.
In a whole day. A whole day.
Oh, a whole day. Oh my goodness. So don't write later, because then you might. Really? Spencer just lowered my chair.
Sorry, no kid. We definitely have to write later tonight.
I like my chair up. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank
See
you.
y'all. Bye.